the two games that started it all off, Celtics, Sixers,
Hmm.
and Warriors, Lakers. The Celtics, even amidst all the Ime Udoka controversy, looked really
That's the
spry
thing.
and
Yeah.
still looked like a machine, both in terms of their defensive switching ability and versatility, but also the offensive prowess of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I'm not too worried about the Sixers. There are a few new guys on that team, and also I'm just not super worried about Embiid and Harden necessarily kind of picking it up as the season goes on. I'm more concerned about the other opponent in the matchup against the reigning champion
Yeah, the
Warriors.
Lakers, I
The
mean,
Lakers just look unconscionably bad,
it's
like an atrocity of a team's. And from I know it's a small sample size, of course, but they look lifeless. They can't shoot. They took 43s and made like 12 of them.
yeah, they're just gonna it's gonna be highlight city for them, right? I mean, this is the LeBron basically twilight years. He put up some good statistics, but
But that's just my
that's
concern. My
just
concern is that just might
statistics.
be what it is,
That's
right?
exactly what
Essentially,
it is.
the
Stat padding
yeah,
Lakers.
the season is going to be can LeBron catch Kareem to take over, most points scored by an NBA player
That would
as a,
be such a depressing season for me if I were a Lakers fan.
right for that to be the
They're not
achievement.
going anywhere, and it just seems to be like LeBron's producing stuff in LA, and then he is on the side padding his
And I
stats, and
mean,
that's going to be the end.
I just like I think and I'm like a LeBron like defender and apologist and stan I like self-professed, but like my biggest thing that I've always had with him that I've always complained about him is that because he's LeBron James, he of course has so much sway over the front office and over the roster
And I
transactions.
think that's a good thing largely for the league that he has flexed
Yeah,
that muscle.
it's
But
good. It's
there's
good.
the other side.
Right. It's a double-edged thing, right? Because I think you're right in the sense that it is good for him to kind of like he is a player, and since he is such a good player, and he is one of the most like like I would say like revolutionary, exceptional athletes of all time. But at the same like to have that sway, but at the same time, it leads to a lot of shoddy personnel decisions. I feel like because it's either like guys it seems as if that he saw have like one or two good plays and wants them on the team, or it's like older guys who are past their prime.
Right.
Like I don't think Patrick Beverly fully fits with this team. Juan Toscano Anderson is there, fresh off his ring with the Warriors, and he can't shoot or can't do anything productive. Austin Reeves seems to be the only guy, one of the only like guys who has some semblance of juice on the team, and he's like a role player, bench player. Like Russ does not. Russ is still playing like Russell
Bench
was.
bench off the bench
Right
Russ.
off the
Sixth man of the year, baby. Let's go.
off the bench, Russ is still playing as if he's not 34 and is 24, and
Yeah,
but
that's not
he's
happening.
playing like he's 24 as a 34-year-old. Like it's just kind of a nightmare. Like they don't. I don't know besides obviously what LeBron does well and what Anthony Davis does well, what the team does well.
That's the thing, right? They are not a team. They seem to be a collection of players. And LeBron was able to cobble together like championship teams in his time in Cleveland when he was kind of flexing in his return to Cleveland. So at that point, maybe it was just so novel that it worked. But at this time at this point, it's just like LeBron's friends, people who have cachet that he wants to be able to play with. And I don't think that the Lakers are winning a championship anytime soon. I'd be pretty pissed if, like, I saw Jeannie Buss was on Rich Eisen, the show that I really like, and she was kind of pushing back on some of the critique of her front office abilities as being sexist because that, or not even front office, but I would say like
Like
management of the
ownership
team ownership.
tenure,
I meant
yeah.
to say, yeah, ownership tenure. And I'm sympathetic to that argument, but I also think there are a lot of questions that need to be asked about some of the decisions being made.
Right, like why is Lonnie Walker in the starting five of this team?
It seems like it shouldn't be the case if they're if like based on the right the roster they're trying to construct here,
It
or if
just
they're constructing
none
a
of the
roster at
pieces.
all.
Basically, the only pieces to me that make sense with one another are like LeBron, Anthony Davis,
Yeah,
and like maybe Austin Reeves. That's not good.
right. I
That's
know.
not encouraging. If like two stars and a role player, are the only guys that seem to sort of like make sense with one another on the court. And compared to the Warriors, who, despite again similar to the Celtics, despite any sort of off court controversy and off court consternation, looked unstoppable still. I mean, Jordan Poole still looks like one of the most exceptional young players in the league. He was getting feeds from Draymond and feeding Draymond himself. There did not seem to be any turmoil on the court. Steph was Steph. Clay. I mean, it just like it does not. They didn't lose a whole lot. They still that core is still together. They've managed to restructure their salary cap situation where all of those guys are still on the team. It just seems to seeing those two teams play each other on night one of the season, I think just put into such stark relief where the Warriors still are and where the Lakers are not.
Yeah, I mean the Warriors are. I feel like if I were to pick today, I mean I would guess that they repeat. I just feel that strongly about how they're constructed.
Yeah, I just think like there's a reason why they've essentially there's a reason why in the past like 8 years they've lost like 3 playoff series.
Right.
Like it just does not happen very often.